What's this? Not only do I stream, I do art? Yeah, I'm kind of the total package. Online presence, art skills, tiny penis. The whole deal. Ugh. I hope folks are doing well out there. I am. About the same as I ever am. Which is, you know, just kind of hanging out and existing in a sort of neutral, existential soup. which I've learned to get along with, so no complaints here. But yeah, I decided I saw some cool fan art today, and I was like, I also want to draw cool fan art, so we're gonna do that. Gonna draw Yama-Bro from One Piece. I got some references from online, so let's just start. Let's get to it. Let's jump right into the news. Lord, there are a decent amount of YouTubers who I missed growing up. Like, I did not catch the wave with them. Didn't really. What was I thinking of? Didn't necessarily follow them on a regular basis, and seemingly for a good amount of those, that seems to have been the worked in my favor as it were. So that's nice. Nice that I dodged a few bullets growing up. I've talked about being like sheltered before, but I mean, you don't gotta worry about the the less exposure you have to possible problematic role models, the less likely you are to, you know, be disappointed when they turn out to be so. So, but yeah, I'm thinking. Here's the thing. Here is the thing. It is clobbering time. 'Tis the clobbering hour. I'm thinking what we do. I was like, should I give Yamato chesticles or chest scars? And I feel like this posture would be advantageous to show off any chest scars he might have. So I want, you know, I was gonna be like, getting gender affirming care in One Piece must be easy because you got people with wacky powers around. If Iva can't do you any favors, because, you know, there's only one Iva, then surely like Zoro or another master swordsman or Law or, you know, etc could help you out. But sometimes it's hard to remember that we see a very, very specific version of the One Piece world. Arguably one of the most it'd be like basing how you think the One Piece world is off of One Piece would be like fucking someone basing what they think our world is like, watching someone literally like sail around the world to the most crazy islands, and oh, am I doing this on the ref layer? I didn't mean to do that. I didn't even touch the ref itself though, so that's nice. Like, could you imagine showing someone like someone seeing a video of people sailing from like Hawaii to Antarctica and having them think that's what the world is like, and then they rock up to like New Jersey. I'm a big New Jersey. I like living here, but it is also one of the funniest things to say in comparison to, you know, an extravagant destination. Oh, that's not right. I literally saw a video today about someone saying how there's nothing to do in South Jersey, and they are not necessarily wrong. But here's the thing, I like the quiet life. So, works good for me. If you're party people, probably less so, but New York's right there. Like, it's like there's nothing exciting to do in New Jersey. It's like, yeah, you can walk to New York from here. Don't walk to New York from here, but you can walk to New York City from here. A lot of places in Jersey are closer to New York than New York places are closer to New York. Just do that. Not every square inch of this part of the world can be hustle and bustle all the time. Honestly, I'm looking to get more out of the way as life goes on, and I'm 25, so... already looking to retire. Lord. That's just making me think of like hobbits and stuff for many reasons. One of which being that like Frodo, in Lord of the Rings is like 50 or whatever. The hobbits are slightly longer lived than people, if I'm not mistaken. But I should read more Tolkien stuff. Because, I mean, fucking, he made plenty of it. You know? It's not like Tolkien didn't just pour words onto paper hoping no one ever noticed or read it. That ain't it. So I should try reading more of his stuff. I don't do as many... Nope. I'm trying to think. Because if I'm remembering right, Torso is like rough, maybe a little longer, but rough. I mean, honestly, we could probably make Yamato's torso the size of his thigh, regardless, because he do got long legs. If he's bending a bit, and he got them long legs, then... What? Okay, I'll walk you through the train I just thought of, even though it won't make sense whether I walk you through it or not. I saw a different video talking about Tolbertson Fox, creator of Undertale and Deltarune. Apparently, like, you know, there's a few there's a few characters in those games who like have actual voice clips as opposed to just like kind of audio bits playing when they're talking. And I saw someone saying apparently that like Toby does a lot of those voices. You know, he just does it himself and then kind of probably messes it up a bit in the old digital workshop, right? but that still raises my and I was thinking about that because in relation to what I just said, because one of the examples was Metaton. They got long legs too. Um, and fucking as I was thinking about him doing voices for his characters, I was also like, is he in that dog suit? If you see any Deltarune trailers for Nintendo Switch, there's a dog mascot. And I want to know if that's Toby in there. Okay, we're gonna have to make this a little smaller. Edit. Scale. Listen, I'd love to make it as big as can be, but it does gotta fit on the page. So. See, I forgot about proportions here, so also I should probably make that reference sheet a bit more transparent, so I was also in part like I should do this because I like doing the comic and I like kind of doing it as regular practice for drawing just about anything, but it's good to take a moment and be like, hey, draw something else. Extreme pose. That being said, it's gonna be hidden under. Yama-Bro's got some baggy clothing. I was gonna ask, do trans people typically gravitate towards baggy clothing? But one, I don't like to make generalizations, even though, like, you know, spend enough time online, you'll see people universally agreeing that the what's it called? The IKEA shark, the blahage, that's a trans symbol. Except you know what I was saying. So I do think fashion is just that. Even if everyone who falls under the trans umbrella has a blahage as some kind of cool certificate. I used to have a blahage. Fashion is a wide category, so bring out a parrot, you got it. Uno momento. Otro. I don't have a one-piece parrot, do I? Also, like, I was gonna do, and I am, some unique design stuff with Yamato here. Completely forgetting that Yamato does have a devil fruit. They do have a transformation. I have, you know, I don't think about it a lot because they used it like once. He is naturally strong even without a devil fruit. I'm sure to some degree he's like, I'd prefer not to have this. So, do we have a counter on how many people in One Piece have eaten a devil fruit because they were hungry? Like, just because they were hungry? You'd start pretty quick with that, because Luffy does that in the first episode. They're like, Luffy, you didn't eat that, did you? And he's like, I did. Like, that's a devil fruit. And Takia, I don't know. There's a lot of people named Yamato. I was gonna say I should have been more specific, but here's the thing. I did use Luffy's nickname for Yamato in One Piece. So I only allow myself to be so responsible. I wonder how many trans Yamatos there are, because I did also put the trans flag in there. This guy, despite appearances, Yamato universally goes by he, him. Forged an identity for himself. Oh, I'm guessing trans. Yeah. I mean, you say that, and you're fair for that, but also, there's definitely, I know for a fact there's almost definitely some One Piece characters who are probably just like, oh, not what I would guess. Oda likes to do that. What was I just thinking of? What was I thinking of with Yamato? Yeah. To some degree, because I mean there are other trans characters in One Piece, and you could say some other ones. I mean there have actually legitimately just been on screen transitions in One Piece. It's just like you could say people have quote unquote transitioned more. They have, but also it's like, you know, what are appearances? Yeah. We're just here, give me 1 second here. Okay, so we're just so we'll do this. That's good. Okay, perfect. All right. 1, get that 2, 2, 3. All right. There goes Zoro to give Yamato his top surgery as part of the healthcare package you receive for joining up with the Straw Hats. Everyone knows. I mean, I could joke about the Straw Hats having a you know, healthcare as part of some kind of crew benefits, but here's the thing: Chopper's on the crew, and he legitimately, his dream, which is one of the biggest things in One Piece and the Straw Hats, his dream is to create a cure for every disease. So it's like pretty good healthcare. We're gonna move Zoro over a bit for the moment, because I think it would behoove me to shrink Yamato's chest, which is ironic given the conversation we've been having. edit. Oh wait, no. This, edit, transform, scale. Yeah. Hope you've been having a good day, Paula. It is currently storming outside my house, but if anything, I wish that had started sooner, because it'd be hot. So. Okay. We're gonna do that for right now. And then... Like, should I start with the pants? Or the fight? I do love big pants. I always start with the face just cause, like, you know, get that right. Breathe some life into our Yama-Bro. Also, I was thinking about this. So Yamato's the son of Kaido in One Piece, right? Stay with me. I don't think Kaido has a last name. Because like a few number of One Piece characters, he was kind of isolated as a child for being a weirdo. So that mean that Yamato's last name ends up being like just Yamato Kaido-san or something. I mean, I guess, you know, if Yamato had his way, he'd be Yamato, Kazuki Yamato? Because his hero is Odin, Kazuki Odin. And he's a man because Odin was a man, and all the samurai he looked up to were men. And now he's even, like, top warrior underneath Odin's son. So I'm sure he'd be like, can that be my last? I don't like my demon dad. Demon dad not cool. He fucking put bombs on me. Locked me in a cellar for like a decade. Also, this is where this comes in, because part of the fan art I saw and shared on there was because I think technically Kaido and Yamato both are a particular breed of people with horn and such features in One Piece. And I saw someone draw Yamato with like those kind of traditional curved fangs. You know, let me give him his nose first. This always happens. I hate when I don't know why this has happened ever since I did my first art stream. Where just the zoom function seems to break. That should be good. And we gotta draw the fangs first, because they're by necessity going to be pretty big. Just gonna look at some reference online. Shot. Be a big fancy shot. Now's your chance to be a big shot. Be a big shot. Okay. Okay, no, that was working. Oh. Look for the beat. Ah, wrong layer. You know what? I might also actually. Here's the thing. I'm thinking about doing some traditional art again, but just like the cut and move feature in digital workspaces like Clip Studio Paint, I cannot deny how helpful they are. That's better. Boom, boom. Word. It is only Tuesday. I was like, after having a short week, an entire week off, and then, you know, another short week, I was not looking forward to going back to work. I was right to be like that. Which I feel like is only exacerbated. Like, I came in and my family was like, "What's up? Something seems wrong." And I was like, "It's 100 degrees outside." Before it was storming as it is now. It was far too hot. Okay. Eyes be hard. Everyone knows that. Honestly, eyes and faces I've definitely always had a harder time with than hands. Hands have never been too hard for me. I've been on the record saying that before. Despite the fact that that seems like a universal experience for a good amount of artists. That looks good. Let me see. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Honestly, I might try playing up those fangs even more. Even more. Let's see how far we can push it. Push it to the limit. We're actually gonna even make the brush smaller. That, honestly, that might be a good size, but I want them sharper. Sharper fangs. We love everyone's a sucker for fangs. Whether you want them or you're turned on by them or both. Both a little bit at the same time. I'm really tempted to give them fangs pointing upwards, but honestly, that looks good to me. Might edit a few things here now. Yes, 3 for 2 bags. I mean, listen. Is it? What's it called? Is it warthogs whose fangs will grow like straight into their head if they don't wear them down? There's a few animals like that. That's a problem. As long as you don't have that happening, you're probably fine. You heard it here, folks. Artist and dentist Cahill Comics says as long as your teeth aren't growing into your brain, everything's cool. So. And you want to know something? I stand by that. Oh, that... I made a mistake. Our poor little Zoro. He's gonna get too caught up in the action. We need him for top surgery. So important. So very important. Lord. On top of the million reasons I need to get on getting a new PC is so that I can have, like, you know, a proper second monitor as opposed to using my phone, which slides around my desk and is plugged in very, very inconveniently. Second monitors are life-changing. They would be helpful. No doubt, no doubt. Kinda want it to have his horns face forward, but fucking... He's already got lots on his face. Between hair and fangs. Oda didn't even give him the fangs, but fucking... He was like, you gotta clear room. Let him express himself. Ear. Does Yamato have... I think he does have earrings. Gay. Oh, it's yellow outside. You never like to see it. Has anyone ever been like looking at the weather, watching weather happen, seen the sky turn yellow and been like, that's a good thing? I don't think so. Almost certainly not, right? Dun, 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 dun. You know, I was talking about some like different trivia videos I'd seen earlier, and there was this one about Sonic, which is always fun because Sonic's got some wacky trivia about him. And it was like, well, we know that Sonic was born on, I think it was called Christmas Island, I don't know, something like that. And it's like, and you know, obviously that's been featured in at least one game, right? Nah. And that's funny. I looked at it and, ooh, pretty, I like it. Well, I want to say that's different. Probably not that different. Not that different for the purposes of feeling, you know, feeling inspired by color of sky. If you're more focused on how pretty the sky looks as opposed to it being like, well, that is an unnatural color for the sky to be. I mean, clearly not. If the sky can be that color, in some ways it is a natural color for the sky to be then. But fucking... still, it's not a common color for it to be. And thus, mayhaps a little unsettling? I think so. I'm gonna change the hair trajectory here. It's gotta overshoot that horn a bit more. Yamato does also just have a lot of hair. I'd say I'd say I wonder if Yamato just has long hair because his fucking dad never got it. Took him to get it cut, but I was talking in Discord that Yamato's been on some recent cover stories. I'm sure if Yamato wanted a haircut, they could get that. I'm sure that's easy enough to get to. Even in the One Piece world, as long as you're not actively being detained by a warlord. Next thing you know, in the next volume, Oda's like, fun fact, there are no haircuts in One Piece. Hair just transforms itself. If you've ever noticed a character's hair change, it was because of magic or some bullshit. Alright, honestly, I think that face is looking pretty cool. It's looking more cool than it is scuffed. And those are kind of the two directions my art takes. We'll give him the hairpins. But I won't add his ponytail until we be done. Yes. There's that. Alright. Moving on to the rest of the outfit. So Yamato's belt would probably go like right here. So with that in mind, you know something? I actually think I need to shrink the sketch again. I get like this. I sketch things too big. There we go. No, wrong layer. Yeah, Yamato's great. I like him. Obviously, you know, controversy because transphobes out there, but in general, good One Piece character. I kind of wish he did join the Straw Hats, just cause I feel like like he talked about it, and to me that's very Robin vibes. For like for a lot of that arc, the Straw Hats were traveling with completely different people. So to then have the person who joins their crew following that specific adventure be just a random person who's like, I'm coming, is fun. IMO. But it didn't happen, and honestly I trust Oda. I do wonder if towards the end of the series whether or not like the composition of the Straw Hats per se will become important, because I think we have 4 devil fruit users currently on the crew. And Oda's kind of been in recent chapters, Oda's kind of been like, hey, so that devil fruit thing, the ability to swim, it might be important actually. I do wonder, these are very light spoilers for the current arc. Well, actually, the last arc in the manga, I guess. But yeah, with what Oda's currently doing, I wonder if that was in part planned from the beginning. Because in the opening chapter, Shanks was like, well, a pirate has to be able to swim. And meanwhile, we've seen a lot of pirates without with devil fruits and thus not able to swim. And, you know, granted, again, like I said, we're looking at the world of One Piece through a very specific and extreme lens. But it should be noted that, one, I don't think necessarily the idea of powerful pirates in One Piece having devil fruit powers is like singular to what, you know, Luffy and his crew's experience. And then two, what else was I thinking of? I mean, I feel like Shanks would have to know that, like, well, a lot of the most powerful crews in the world have devil fruit. So we'll do this. Make sure I know where that big old rope around him is. I was trying to look into this. There are like 2 or 3 samurai characters with this big bow behind them in One Piece, and I was like, what is that? I think I saw someone saying it had to do with Japanese theater. I do not know, though. And I'm not about to say I'm an expert on it. It doesn't. I think One Piece is... Listen. I've said this a few times, but I'm going to say it again. And really listen to me. I think at the moment, One Piece is a better read than it is a watch. Just because of the nature of, like, weekly anime, you know? They've had to do filler and pacing stuff. Because, like, a million different reasons, right? You with me so far? Meanwhile, the Shonen Jump app is $2 a month. And if you get it, you also are able to then read 1,200 chapters of One Piece. Like, a truly insane amount of material for a low price, just wherever you are, on the go. It's better than, it's almost certainly better than scrolling on the phone. I can say that much for sure. So, find the time to read it. I mean, that's it, you know, it's different, person to person, but I honestly just be looking at muscly people. Like I said, it's been a while since I've drawn even semi-realistically, so yeah. I feel like I'll still end up recommending One Piece read over watched, in part because even if you're like, well, I don't read a lot, it's like, well, I think One Piece is well written and engaging, so might be a good way to get you reading again. It's good to be there's lots of media you can get information and fucking yada 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 from. But, what was I thinking of? But reading's I don't know how to read. That's fair. I mean, if that's the case. I could have saved myself a lot of trouble if I was just like, you know what? Yamato has his sleeves on again, because Yamato was wearing sleeves when he first showed up and he ripped them off. Because he's cool like that. But I'm already altering the design a good bit. I could leave it there, but I do want to... Yamato's a strong dude. Lord, oh my goodness. Let's talk about this like real quick, just because it's funny. Because I completely forgot about this. So a discussion was had, kind of. real hard to say, considering the kind of shitpost I'm about to talk about. Whether a discussion was truly had or not. I'll say I think that might be good. Not necessarily getting into too much detail there, but just the suggestion of the ribs as the body is stretched. We're slowing on those leaves. Think of it, honestly, it was first off, it'd probably be Yamato, considering he was a prisoner for most of his life, so no matter how you put it, probably tearaway sleeves. And then I was thinking of, and on top of that, they probably was just like, oh, I want tearaway sleeves regardless. But, oh yeah, so there was a discussion had started about Yamato versus another One Piece character who has freezing powers. Alright, you with me so far? And someone responded that Yamato couldn't win because the other person was faster and could freeze their opponents. End of discussion. Right? So that became a bit of a meme. In the idea that any fight could be solved if you were faster and could freeze your opponents, right? What I'm very happy with is it has gone from being a One Piece meme to a Deltarune meme, largely. Because in Deltarune, there's Noelle, who is like an ice wizard, in certain scenarios. So now, whenever discussion of Deltarune fights come up, someone is like, well, Noelle is faster and can freeze her opponents. And I think that's very funny for many reasons. So I'm pretty sure Yamato actually has ice powers too. Now I'm thinking about it. That little known devil fruit, I think it's able to do snow and shit. So truly that person was off their gourd. You know, this... I want to use like a samurai reference, because me adding like the curved fangs and stuff was already a traditional like Japanese reference and what have you. And Yamato is in the Wano arc, which is traditional Japanese shit. So I tried to find a print, traditional Japanese print focused around the samurai. Who doesn't like a good samurai story? Alright. Not looking too bad so far. A little rough around the edges, but you know. We're dusting the old bones off, so it's like bicep. If only I could have a muscly man in my room. That'd help a lot with reference. No doubt about it. Just some kind of muscle man to use as artistic reference. You know who else likes to be used as artistic reference? What? How did you get my mom? Who was that? Goodness, I don't know if Jack can hear thunder as it rolls overhead. But there's a good amount of it, so. Nope. Don't make the... I don't mind exaggerating anatomy. A lot of my favorite artists do it, right? You with me so far? But that being said, I have also broken my arm. So sometimes I'm like, that is a little too exaggerated. And it reminds me of breaking my arm. So I try to avoid that. I don't know if I've told this story on stream before. And I think mostly just Paula's here. So who knows, maybe I'll have to repeat it one day for a larger audience, but there was this one second time I ever broke my arm, which, you know, great, I already did it once. But like, fucking, I did it, and my parents were, in some ways they were trying to be like, well, you're fine, which, like, they didn't know, so it's not their fault. But like, they put an ice pack on it, right? If I'm not mistaken, like I think we had it like wrapped, like, honest to goodness. I was like, this I messed it up. Oh my goodness, pig, 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 pig. Good. I was lurking earlier, pig. I hope you had a good time playing Nier Automata. Welcome on in, Raiders. I'm Cahill. I'm an artist, currently doing art. Which, I mean, honestly, a little rusty on. This is why I should do more streams like this, because actually, you know, I think the bicep would be first. But anyway, currently doing art, Best Boy Yamato, and I like to play games like Souls and Monster Hunter and what have you. So if that's all that sounds good, then I hope you consider following. Pig? Where? Also, have this Roronoa Zoro doing top surgery. Pretty cool. This is my One Piece OC. It's Zoro, except he performs top surgery for free. Lord, this is not One Piece spoilers, what I'm about to say. You know, Yamato's late, so like light One Piece spoilers for him. But on top of the many just like literally coming up to the camera and saying, "I'm trans" characters featured in One Piece, Yamato included, it is hilarious and maybe even perplexing to think about Zoro's backstory through the trans lens. Because for anyone who hasn't read One Piece, literally the second protagonist we meet after beloved boy Monkey D. Luffy is introduced and starts recruiting for his crew, second protagonist we meet is Zoro, who's a badass sword guy. Alright, you with me so far? Okay, good. Zoro is a badass sword guy, and his goal is to simply be the strongest swordsman in the world. Alright? Also, you wanna know something? I'm just gonna fucking delete like half of this. And oh lord, how long ago did I do the bottom of these cuffs? That long ago. Anyway, so second protagonist of One Piece is Zoro, whose dream is to be the strongest swordsman in the world, right? Okay. His backstory is that he had a girl who was a dear beloved friend of his as a child, and who, you know, he practiced swords with and dreamed of being the best, also dreamed of being the best swordsman in the world. But as they got older, her dad was like, "Well, you're a girl, so I don't want you going out there and being the best swordsman in the world." And she got sad. And Zoro was like, "How about we promise each other to not give up till we're the best swordsman?" And she was like, "Okay." And then she died. Randomly and without ceremony. And that's all the backstory we've gotten on Zoro. And then also, when he kind of starts his mission in earnest in One Piece, when he meets Mihawk, who is the current best swordsman, the person he has to defeat, he gets a big chest scar. So if you're reading between the lines here, Zoro's backstory is that he knew a girl who wanted to be the best swordsman in the world, but was sad that she couldn't because she was a girl. She, let's for these purposes say, disappeared, and Zoro took over that dream, and now he has chest scars. And when you all phrase it like that, it's like, huh. But also it's kind of weird because, you know, I was just saying, it's like there's plenty of openly trans characters in One Piece. Would Oda hide it if he's just gonna put a bunch of fully trans people in later? But then also, it was the 90s when he started writing it, so maybe he was just like, I'll do an allegory. It's fun to think about, though. Meanwhile, some people are like, it's not that deep. Yeah. I've seen so many videos being like, it's not that deep has ruined a generation. The phrase "it's not that deep" has ruined a generation. But like, some people are just like, no, it's not all that and a bag of chips. But isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to read subtext and be like, huh, that's a weird coincidence. That's a weird forearm. I need more foreshortening. I'm so bad at art. Hey, did you guys know I'm actually bad at art? It's unfortunate I have a Patreon. Because then people pay me to be bad at art. Or, you know the historic days of patrons? Like back when rich people would just adopt artists to be funny guys and make stuff for them? How far do you think you could get with a patron by being like, I'm bad at art, but I'll do bad art for you if you pay for me to live? You know? It's like, I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm good, but I could be bad for you. That sounds more like a sexual thing if we're being honest here. Hey, that doesn't look too bad. Does it? Does it look too bad? Oh no, it looks bad. I'll say this, it looks as good as I'm currently willing to make it. After a beep. I also might color this. We see. I'll probably do the club and the ponytail all as one thing on a different layer. Just to, you know, do all that background stuff separately. Lord, I want to do, for like different Wallop Brother things, I want to do like a rope border. You know, like a border around the page made of rope, as you would find on, I don't know, a pirate ship. But fucking I'm like, do I try drawing like a pattern and then copy and pasting it? Do I draw all the rope individually? Like, truly a problem for the ages. Lord, it got dark fast. It got dark from rain clouds, then it got yellow, and now it's just pitch black outside. Like I said, spooky. Unless I guess you like all those colors, like Paula was saying. In which case, you know, it's just cool. Yeah, there we go. Give it a bit of a curve. Boy's got curves. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Alrighty. Here's the thing. It's clobbering time. Also, I don't know how to fucking draw these pants. If I look up samurai pants, is that good? Samurai pants. Yeah, this is kind of it. Disturbing amount of white guys wearing these. That's a white woman. That's not. That's just a guy in regular pants. That's a guy in slacks. Yeah. Nothing even to do with any kind of gender identity stuff for Yamato. I do just like pants that kind of look like a skirt. Pants so big and fluffy that they look like some kind of big skirt until you spread your legs apart and it's like, oh, pants. Those things rule. And I was clarifying that thing about Yamato, because I was like, remember how I mentioned subtext earlier? Yeah, there isn't any here. I just like big pants. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know how Oda feels about big pants, but I mean, he's got Luffy in some baggy shorts. So, but then Frankie's just wearing a Speedo. Frankie needs more love. I could get into spoilers about one of the newest arcs in the anime and manga, but I won't. Because honestly, I shouldn't even have to. Frankie's just cool. And he even built the Thousand Sunny. So, I think he deserves more love regardless. I might. I think this is looking okay so far. Boom. Bump, bump, bump. Yeah, this is looking alright so far. We got a ways to go, but I basically just started putting down lines and doing this, so. I'm not gonna stress too much. I don't know how these pants look when they're hyper spread apart, but I'm gonna assume something like this. Nope. There we go. This is how a lot of pants do stuff like this when you spread your legs, so. I think that's where my fucked up brain comes in with helping me be an artist. Because I might not be the most skilled guy on the block, but My brain does notice stuff like, hey, isn't it weird pants do that? And no one else knows what I'm talking about because no one else bothered to notice what pants do. So. Maybe that's why I never had problem drawing hands in the past. Because I was always just looking at... if there's one thing I have to look at on my person at any one time, it's my own hands. They're always doing something. I'm just noting little things constantly. I'm like, huh. Yeah, because, like, I got this samurai reference back here, but he has wildly different pants. They're much baggier. They're less curtainy. Oh, my lord. Stop with zooming I did not order. You know what I think might be better, actually? Just given the way the pants are. You know, the way the pants... you know the way pants... Just, like... constantly. Like, not going... Whoa! Another raid! Void raid! Thank you for the raid, Void. What were you doing? Kirby. Kirby also says trans rights is the thing. So... if you're wondering what pollo means, two things. Chicken in Spanish. And trans rights. Ratchet and Clank. Oh my goodness. I feel like there's a couple mascot platformers I've kind of just like let sail by me, and that is one of them. It's like I'll pick up a Mario or a Sonic T Hedgehog, or even a Crash Bandicoot. But I've never gotten into Ratchet and Clank. I hope you had a good time, Void. Welcome on in, Raiders. If you don't know me, I'm Cahill. I'm an artist, does comic stuff. What was I thinking of? I like playing games like Souls and Monster Hunter. So if that sounds good, consider dropping a follow, seeing what we got in store. And currently doing just some fan art of Best Boy Yamato. Also, if you haven't been around, I'm starting to use all stream stuff to raise money for charity. So you can always use ! charity. You want to see what we're doing with that, and consider, you know, helping out. If not, it's cool though. We all gotta look after out for ourselves. So I'm not about to make you do something. I'm not your dad. I'm not Ratchet or Clank's dad. I feel like another reason I haven't picked up Ratchet and Clank is because, in part, I think of them and I think of Jack and Daxter, who I've also not picked up. I don't know if they have a connected history or not, but I have seen a good amount from the Jack and Daxter series. I don't know why. I think it's just because people who I watch have dipped their toes into it. More so than me looking for it myself. I'm probably more likely to pick up Ratchet and Clank than Jack and Daxter anyway. Because I look at Jack and Daxter and I just think about Timon from The Lion King. And all I can think of is, well, why am I playing this when I could be watching the original Lion King, not the remake, and not Mufasa? Don't bring that around here. I don't mean to have so many opinions on media people may like, but there's one thing I won't stand for, it's the Disney remakes, so... These pants are hard to draw. Yamato, how the fuck do you even fold these things? How do you iron them? I think I'm gonna have to, like, erase this entirely. Lord. I should iron more of my clothes. And if you're like, Kale, that's not a very interesting conversation to have. Listen. I just have a lot of wrinkly clothes, okay? And it's not like I don't know how to iron. It's just I don't like going out. And I don't typically have the... Why am I talking about this on stream? And I just don't feel like I typically have the time to iron them. So then they just go unironed. And they're wrinkly. And sometimes I do just wear them wrinkly. But I should iron them. You know, I need to stop asking why people don't come to my streams. I know. I know the answer to that. Is it because you talk about ironing your clothes? It's because I talk about ironing my clothes. Sick ironing dog, bro. Sorry. I should stop. And anyone who's like, no, talk about ironing your clothes, stop that. You know you're not being genuine. I know it. You know it. He, she, we know it. Lord. Someone gave me a method, which I will not expose, of watching, like, classic SpongeBob episodes, and I should get on that. I mean, I have a lot of things I need to watch, in general. And plenty of them are new, and would probably be better for my general brain and cultural intake to watch than just rewatching old SpongeBob episodes. But consider SpongeBob. Y'all ever seen SpongeBob? That shit's good. I was just about to talk about... I was literally thinking just about, like, a Deltarune meme that is just a retelling of a SpongeBob joke, right? Then I remember that pig, who might not be here anymore, and that's okay. But regardless, I still won't say it in case they are here. I was like, okay, I'll start playing Deltarune. Fine. Because apparently he hasn't played a good bit of Chapter 2 or any of the new chapters. And let me tell you, is Deltarune going to win Game of the Year? Probably not. Do I like it that much? Yeah. That's good shit. Oh, I'm so sorry. My chat did the thing where I could not see that new messages were coming in. Give me one moment here to catch up a bit. Okay. Cahill loves Sonic 06. I don't. You don't should follow this meme if you're not already. Oh, you're sweet, Void. Have a connected history. Don't iron my clothes either. Never saw the point. Sometimes you get it. Sometimes ironing clothes is a must. Why are we talking about this again? Also, bye, Void. Is a must, because sometimes they do just look like wrinkled paper, and you can't have that, but also... Why do I gotta... I am so sorry about that again, chat. What are you drawing today? We're drawing Best Boy Yamato from One Piece. Now you might notice difference between these two images if you look closely. But if you look even closer, One Piece of what? We've been asking that question for about 20 years now. If you look even closer, you'll notice Roronoa Zoro here, famous swordsman Roronoa Zoro, performing instant top surgery. He's just that good. Word. You know how lightsabers are supposed to cauterize anything they cut? Can you do that with a normal sword if you just move it fast enough, or would that just break the sword? It'd probably just break the sword, but still. It's like, we love that. Because I was talking before, Yamato's dad and shit, they're part of like a specific human species. There's a lot of human subspecies in One Piece. But they like got like horns and shit. You don't see a lot of those, honestly, and it's not really brought up, but you know, yeah, lore, world building, da, 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 da. But I saw fan art today, and someone drew Yamato with like the curved Oni mask fangs, and I was like, well, that shit goes hard. And I could, you know, work on my own projects or file my taxes or iron my clothes or something, or I could draw Yamato with curved fangs. And that won out, so. Next time I put a poll in Discord, I'll put filing my taxes on there, and if it doesn't win, we are committing tax fraud. He'd up the sword, but that would probably ruin the integrity of the metal. Yeah. I mean, no doubt swinging a hot sword multiple times will damage the sword, but I'm just wondering if you could swing a sword fast enough that the friction from the side of the sword, which could be rough, it doesn't have to be smooth, because, you know, the side of a sword, the blunt side of a sword doesn't have to be, like, polished like the edge does, kind of. But, like, if you could move that fast enough that the friction itself would just naturally just, you know, cauterize, you'd have to be moving it pretty fucking fast. And this is in no way a safe experiment that anyone should try at home. And the Mythbusters aren't going to try it. Those guys retired years ago. But I suppose probably, theoretically. And I mean, here's the thing, right? Will the human on the receiving or giving end survive? No. But this isn't about the humans. It's about if the sword can survive it. I'm at a point in my life where I'm past looking for more humans. I'm looking for cool swords. So if you can give me one that instantly cauterizes any wound it makes, then, you know. If it's like a foot or something, they might die in the shot. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, like, beyond infection and a bunch of other complications, I wouldn't be surprised if just swinging a sword that hard near someone, not good for them, you, anyone. So it's like, it's gonna be a Pyrrhic victory we're working with here, but and somehow survive. You're still looking for cauterizing blades do lightsaber. Well, that was my question to start with, Paula, is that like lightsabers do that because they're hot, but friction generates heat, and if you cut through something, there is friction there. So can you cut through something hard enough that the friction from the sword scraping against what is one of the edges cauterizes it? Also, I was about to say, people will be quick to point out contradictions of the Jedi in any modern Star Wars material, Clone Wars and post-Clone Wars stuff, but I mean, lightsabers are pretty effective non-lethal weaponry. Just avoid the vitals, and you are easily subduing your opponent. I mean, also fucking, if you see someone pull up rocking a lightsaber and you decide to fight anyway, you don't care about living. That's why I'm here. I probably said this before on stream. I'll say it again. I fucking love the battle droids. I fuck with battle droids so hard. It's wild that in Star Wars, actually, they kind of have a reputation of fear about them. I mean, granted, they did some fucked up shit. But also, they're cute little guys. Roger, roger. Exactly. They're cute little guys. And also, you know how you know a good way to not feel guilty about sending clones to die in a war is to not use clones. So use battle droids, who I'm sure if you put the time and money into, can have their you know, operating system backed up on a hard drive on some ship somewhere. It's kind of how it worked to begin with. They all report back to the command ship, and then Anakin blew it up in the worst Star Wars movie. And then they're like, no, we have to make them individual because we're going to war. And couldn't take a thing. Oh yeah. Well, that is purely how the droid army operates. MJ is through sheer force of numbers. It's, you know, it's literally like in a very unironic way. It's like what I was saying with, like, I don't have to worry about the clones if I'm using droids instead. But fucking like it is kind of like that in an unironic way, where it's just like we couldn't practically have an army this big with living things, but we can have it with autonomous things. And yeah, they're a little stupid and flimsy, but they'll win a lot of fights out of sheer force of numbers. Shoot. Listen, I won't speak to that, but I'm trying to think. Has there been any? There's definitely been a few things in Star Wars where someone's like, hey, that's offensive to me, fictional species, right? Or is that like has Star Wars solely left that in the realm of Star Trek? Because I can't really think of a specific example. Also, speaking of, I've never been into Star Trek. I have been tempted to watch The Next Generation recently, though. I've seen some clips. They look good. I don't want to get into the whole thing, because I know that Star Trek kind of spans multiple, like, centuries. It's all fictional history, following human entering the stars and yada 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 yada. But Next Generation looks cool. Patrick Stewart. We were not streaming this, but I was playing Rivals with friends the other day, and I was trying out Magneto, and I was like, "Oh, I was played by Patrick Stewart," and the joke there was that I know Patrick Stewart played Professor X, but then someone was like, "No, that was Ian McKellen." I completely forgot Ian McKellen. I forget there's one guy who played Gandalf and Magneto, and yeah, that's a nerdy thing, but it's also really cool. You know what those two characters have in common, besides fighting for human rights and being wildly powerful? They have cool hats. So. And you might respond to that in part by being like, well, Cahill, Patrick Stewart played Professor X and Picard, and I'm like, yeah, but they're both nerds. Yeah, Professor X has superpowers, but he also is like a war criminal. He fucking loves child soldiers. I've seen so many people do Professor X, and I'm not caught up on that drama, you know, that internet drama with Professor X, but he does definitely do child soldiers. And then Picard just has a laser. Oh, what's he gonna do? He's gonna think and laser me to death? No. You know what Gandalf does? He raises his hands and manipulates space and time, because he's a biblically accurate angel sent off to fight the fantasy equivalent of Satan. And the only reason he doesn't do that in Lord of the Rings is because apparently they've already dropped several biblical nukes in Middle-earth before this. And Gandalf is there with the challenge of being like, hey, stop Satan, but don't blow up the continent to do it. We've done that a few times now. We're running out of continents. Cloud Lee says. I'm sure Storm would be more open to... Storm and the X-Men as a whole would be more open to helping Rogue manage the negative aspects of her powers with medication and such, if the medication wasn't coming from just the worst, just the most evil people they know. That's a pretty big caveat. Guys, this medicine could cure my arthritis. Yeah, but it's made by the Baby Killer 9000. So maybe we don't take that. We can probably find another one later. Oh, who is that? Oh, right. You know, I haven't posted this anywhere yet. Let me talk about it since we're talking about nerd stuff right now. My name is Cahill Comics. Oh, so how's this looking to you guys? Looking okay? I might draw steam coming out of his mouth tusk area, and there's Zoro. Exception is in order. Yeah. That looks great. I'm glad. Got plenty to add, but I want to make sure this looks good. What was I just thinking? Oh, right. So, like, if you've been playing Marvel Rivals, it's a pretty good game. I like it. I was worried that people weren't going to be playing it because my friends were angry at the Flyers comp, but they've killed Flyers comp, so we're safe. You might know that we have Spider-Man, pretty neat. People are annoyed by him, but pretty neat. And he's a DPS. Then we have Spider, Penny Parker. She's alternate universe Spider person, and she's a tank, right? So we just need a healer Spider person. And I feel like I've definitely said on stream before, Miles would be cool for that, because he has like Venom shit that you could like just reinterpret to be healing, yada yada yada, a supportive role. See how many people react. What was I just thinking of? All right, but there is the problem that, and this isn't a problem in universe, but it would be a problem in Marvel Rivals, which is that Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and we do already have a Spider-Man. And in a team fight in that game, saying Spider-Man twice will get confusing, especially when you could have possibly 4 Spider-Men. 4 people all going by the same name in one game will not end well for anyone. So that is unfortunate. But I was thinking, I was like, is there other underutilized Marvel characters who haven't seen the light of day enough recently who could maybe fill the role? And then I was like, wait, Spider-Woman. Because Spider-Woman's a classic hero who's been on the Avengers and shit. She has no relation to Peter Parker or Miles for that matter. She's a SHIELD agent who got experimented on with spy haters. But the other thing about her is that her powers are they're pheromone based, which but they're pheromone based. I feel like that's much easier to convey into a healing thing. So I think she'd be a good fit for healer spider person. Spider guy, spider dude, spider bro. J12, are you reacting to me talking about Spider-Woman Jessica Drew's powers? I just want to be clear, because I will explain things in a moment. If you'd like. Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know, Jessica Drew, I've actually, let me make sure I get her. Jessica Drew. I want to make sure, because she's been a SHIELD agent for a long time. History. England experiment. Became ill. So okay, so she was more just connected to a scientist, and she got sick, and to save her life, which was the point anyway, they were just like, well, we have this experimental thing, we'll try that on her. Gave her spider powers. All right. So going from there, let's talk about Spider-Woman real quick. Spider-Woman's powers include sticking to walls. Alright, pretty good so far. Flying and shooting laser beams. She doesn't do webs. She does fly and she shoots laser beams. They are meant to be pheromones, but they are definitely laser beams. And I mean, I don't know, you could probably look up Spider-Woman and get some laser beams pretty quick. Well, Gwen Stacy came up first, actually, and honestly, that is kind of better, but... Oh, I forgot. She is in Spider-Verse. It is a different version of her. And that's fine. I just forgot she was in Spider-Verse in the first. I just thought of that as a different character. Pheromones, not webs. Because, one, she is a different race. That's fine. She is also pregnant, and Spider-Woman has been pregnant before. I don't think of that as an essential part of her character. You know, Spider-Woman, flying, shooting laser beams, being pregnant. Classic Spider-Woman stuff. Being Bergonaut. So yeah, I just registered that as like a different character when I saw Across the Spider-Verse. Also, in Spider-Verse, she is just using the typical Spider-Man moveset, you know, being agile, using webs, etc., etc. So again, one of the things I do actually think about Spider-Woman is she doesn't necessarily have that many spider powers, and then they give me a Spider-Woman who is using spider powers. I'm like, well, hey, now wait a minute. Yeah. That honestly, mood. Like, let me not pretend like I know what it's like to be pregnant. I've heard it's hard. And I like she has superpowers, so you could do any. So you can definitely like do whatever, but also I'd like maybe just a short sabbat. Please, you gotta have like the Avengers or something in your world, right, Jess? Please, I'm begging you. If nothing else, it can't be good for you. It's probably not good for the baby. That baby's gonna come out with... no, that baby won't come out with any negative, like, effects. It will have googly eyes. Just constantly just, like, you know... just jiggling around for its entire life. And when that baby asks, Mom, why do I have googly eyes? She's not gonna be able to, even if they know she's Spider-Woman, she's not gonna be like, well, the thing is, my sweet child, is I didn't stop being Spider-Woman when I was having you, so. Yeah. No, legit. And she gets punched. Jessica gets punched a good amount. I mean, she didn't stop being Spider-Woman in the comics either, when she was briefly pregnant. Which, again, not typically how that works. A lot of people aren't briefly pregnant. It's kind of a commitment for a lot of folks. Certainly leave it. The thing is, J12, you're right, but also you're not, because it's like, maybe, if you're the only superhero in your world, and some world-ending threat comes along while you're pregnant, you're like, well, if I don't help, there won't be a world for my baby. So guess I gotta do it again, right? Okay, that's fine. But if you have the Avengers in your world, and or if you have a society of other spider people who might be able to help out, I'd call in some favors. Just like, hey, I know it's not traditional for us to take breaks being superheroes, but something has come up. So, but you know, I'm not Jessica Drew. I do not know what it is like being a superhero or pregnant, So truly, I have nowhere to judge. I kind of want to add more of the bow in the background, but there's not really any. You're not. And who did I get these gifts for? What if I cheat a little bit? You know, like, what if I cheat a little bit? It's a me cheat day. I'm just trying some things out. Why am I following you? I only follow you when you're pregnant. Yeah. I'm also just wondering, it's like, okay, let us, given that none of us are experts in this field, whether you've been pregnant or not, let's say Jessica Drew knows what she's doing and is like, it is completely safe for me to be pregnant and a superhero at the same time. It's all good, my guy. And we're like, all right, great. How do you get that? How do you determine that? Out of sheer curiosity. What metrics are we using, and how are we coming to these conclusions? Superhuman strength. That's fair. I guess. But wouldn't you have to gauge if that's doing enough to protect the baby? You know, the baby? I'm just curious. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm curious how, again, if we're conceding that Jess knows what she's doing, how she came to the conclusion of it is cool for me to be a superhero and pregnant superhero. Again, out of sheer curiosity. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Is that better? Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell if I'm doing things right. Just because Yama... we'll just leave it like that for now. Oh, that's not right. Got rid of his pants. And Pergononant. Again, she probably knows more than me. I am just curious how she came to certain conclusions, though. So... I'm gonna hide Zoro for a moment as we get some more... Oh, he's back. I'm trying to think. So if I'm Yamato and I'm flexing like that, then this arm... Are they both facing in? They're both facing in. Alright. Alrighty. Alright. What's all this then? seems to be a transgender samurai. A transmurai, if you will. I'm British, so I will not interfere with this with the samurai business. British samurai. There's been here I thought of what I just said, the thing I just said, what with being with British samurai. I said that as like a joke, right? There's movies that's already a thing, isn't it? People have already been like, oh, samurai, but he's from British. Probably. They said, I know what the people want. I want this British samurai. From British, yeah. Samurai from British. What was it? I need to look. I need to remember his name. Yasuke, that's it. I was about to say, is there any, like, dramatic, well-made movies or shows about Yasuke? The samurai, who I believe was from Africa. If I'm not, like, he did sail there and became a samurai, formally recognized samurai. Is there any good stuff around him that isn't the Assassin's Creed game? Is there maybe some fun, dramatic interpretation of his story not by Ubisoft? Dying to know. You know what? Let's also give Yamato sharp-ass nails. Why? Because we can. I might be good. I think I can do better, though. I can do better is the thing. I demand better of myself. Because I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. You know what's an underrated Disney song? Yes, we're talking about this. No, I'm not yanking your chain here. Casey Jr. from Dumbo. Dumbo in general is just a good movie. I like Dumbo. But Casey Jr.'s, I love that opening section. Casey Jr.'s coming round the track, leaving nothing back with the smoky stack. Casey Jr.'s coming down the hill, packing lots of frills for every Jack and Jill. Every time you hear his little whistle sound, everyone is headed for the circus crown. Get your... I forget what it's called. Get your popcorn and your Cracker Jacks. Casey Jr.'s back. Casey Jr.'s back. I love Small Train. It's good. third layer. They said it couldn't be done. They said I couldn't make a third Photoshop layer. I'll show them. That reminds me, I have to schedule my next therapy appointment. Lord. Streamer seemingly going crazy on stream. Also a streamer. I gotta go to therapy tomorrow. Just remember, I don't know what made me remember that, guys. I need Yamato's big old butt to be bigger. This isn't a euphemism for anything. I am. Hey, CSP. I guarantee you, I'm selecting the photo tool. I promise. Trust me. You know me. It's Cahill. Trust me. Therapy goes well. I don't actually have a therapist. It is a good thing to have. I just don't have one. I went to like the doctor's the other week for the first time in far too long. Granted, knock on wood here. Wood. Knocked on it. The reason is because I haven't had much reason to go to the doctor's in a good long time. But still, you should see your... You should see physicians and therapy people. You know, therapy people. Make sure that you're doing okay across the board. Granted, America can make that easier on us Americans, and they don't. But that's why you should support Doctors Without Borders. Oh! I don't know if they do therapy, but they do make sure people get necessary health care in crisis situations. So. Okay, honestly, this club is roughly proportioned to how Yamato's club in the anime is. I just remember it being a bit more cartoonish. Granted, I haven't added like bumps and shit that are present in that design. Nope, not that one. Not that. Damn, I have in fact made many layers. I realize as I try to look for some and cannot find them. You know what I think could help with some of the proportion problems I'm having here? is tucking Yamato's shirt in. Better. Slightly better. Alrighty. I would need to add like a background and junk to this, but I'm tired. So that means bedtime. But I appreciate y'all coming by. It was good getting to. I need to. I was about to go look for someone to raid, which I will take suggestions, but I want to tuck this in more. Like do something like this. There we go. There we go. Thank you for coming, J12. Yeah, that's not bad. And I think if I added a a background inspired by a wood print, might even sell me on it more. Also, Peak Diggo with Mario. I'm not sure if I've watched any of those guys, Paula. I'll see who I'm following first, and if no one I'm following is, really good candidate for raid, I might just check those people. Zaid with backpack here. I might do Zaid then. That's because I'm more familiar with them. I can check those guys out off stream though. So when a tree is mods, gotcha. That does help a bit. Yeah, tucking in his clothes a bit more. I made his clothes very baggy, so that helps. And then I'm sure if I add a bunch of the ball things, bulbous orbs to the to his club, that would help too. I didn't do myself any favors here because I was using some weird references, but not bad. Not bad for just line art. And then, like I said, maybe when I have a second, we'll see if I get this out. If I post this online this weekend, see about adding an appropriate background and some color. So yeah, might raid us as Zaid, because Zaid is a good friend of mine, and he deserves support. But like I said, thanks y'all for coming on by. Tomorrow, I'm probably just going to be working on my comic again, and we'll see about me, what was I thinking of? getting more proper practice with art doing that, because I could use it. I don't know. I never liked doing studies in college. I still don't. Wait. Onsta's doing art. That is appropriate. And I think she's drawing Barry as a Chikawa person. And like, I mean... Let me just see how long Onsa's been on, because if it's like 9 hours, I will be... I'll probably switch to someone else, because I don't know how long they... Okay, just 1 hour. In that case, we're hunting monsters. What is the thing we will raid Onstead just because support art. If that's okay with y'all. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow with more art, and I hope to see you there. Bye.